Hey everybody, welcome to tutorial 3, our WordPress tutorial 3, adding content and blogging. So if you just want to add content and blog and you just want to know how to do that, this is a great tutorial to start on. Tutorial 2 was around the appearance of a website and tutorial 1 was around an overview of what WordPress was about. So today we're talking about how we blog, effectively blog and maybe also change a page. So we'll go to our website. If you followed the tutorials, this is our website here, mymembers.co.nz, and this is the page we're on. We've got 3 pages: a home page, which is blank, it's a brochureware page, it's a blank page, an about page, which has got the name of the page and also the fact that we can edit that page here, and we've got my posts, which is a series of our blog posts. We've got no blog posts, so it's saying get started. If you follow tutorial 2, you notice that on the home page I actually had some trouble, and that was because I had previously mucked around with this website and I had an old bad link in there. So we've got a home page which has got nothing in it apart from our footer down the bottom here, our widget, and our title and our header image that we changed in the customization option. Let's load that up. We'll see. So identity, page, header image here, menu options here, widgets. There's no sidebar on the front page, but there's a footer search option, and the static front page we set to the home page and post. So that's what we covered last time. We've got 3 pages, which is a pretty standard brochureware website style, but we're also going to allow us to have blogging. So the home page might be my members website, and this might be, we might have some content in here. We've got an about page, which is kind of really about the author usually, or about whatever our services is that we're selling. And we've also got a page, which is actually not a page necessarily, it's just a page which represents where we want our blog posts to be, our archive blog posts. This is a pretty common layout for a website. Front page, before we get into blogging, we've logged in, and so we've got this top menu option here. We edit this page, the home page, and we've called it home. There's nothing in our content, which is why it doesn't appear. And also we've got the option of changing the template. Just give these options if we wanted to. This theme comes with grid or default template, and I don't really know what grid does, so I can change this grid and I can have a look. Update the home page, and we can. Grid suggestive. I know that grid is suggestive of how stuff on the home page is laid out. If I go back, or edit that page here and change it to the template, default template. It's probably going to be very little change because we don't have any content on that home page. Okay, so no difference there that we could understand anyway, but it would have some differences if we had some content in there. So we want to add some content. So before we get into blog posting, which is where most of you would, what you would change quite consistently and dynamically, you would probably add more blog posts, which is why you usually use WordPress. I think it's worth us just explaining how you might change one of these new pages. Say if you added either you'd probably only change the homepage once, but the about page you might change often. And I showed you last time in this tutorial that you could edit the page, and you can click edit here, and it will take you to the back end. You can change put content in this WYSIWYG, and you can change this as the about page. I told you about. Update that with a simple WYSIWYG editor, and you viewed the page or opened it in a new tab, you'll notice that those changes are appearing here. That's how you change a page in here, and this is exactly the same as how you change a post, which we'll get to. The other thing you can do with this default menu option, and it's not very grand, it's not got half the options that Microsoft Word had, but it's very similar to Microsoft Word. If we added a particular plugin or we had a cool theme that we were using, there'd be lots of options here, and that's just an advanced tutorial, but we'll get to that because this is actually really simple. What we can do though is we can use some of these things like alignment. So we can say we want it in the middle. We can add some links if we wanted to, which are here, but it's not that useful. So we can insert a hyperlink. We could go, we want a link to go to Google for whatever reason. We might add a link to google.com, and we might want to add a piece of media. So we can go add media. I've already uploaded a file, but you can click here and go to your desktop and pick something up. Go to the media, click on this. Might be the author, which happens to be me. Picture there. We've edited that. We're happy to have that on the left-hand side, or we might move it in line with the text. We move it to the right. And we're in the visual editor, so we can see what we're doing here on the visual tab, which is a good idea. We might want to enter a paragraph and go, this is me, and we might go sleep and might make that block. So it's just like Microsoft Word. And if we click update and we refresh this page over here, we'll notice that those changes are appearing, and now we've got this kind of starting to make a page look all right. And we might want to do exactly the same thing on the home page. The about page and the home page is not much different, but I've noticed with this particular theme on the home page, it hasn't given us the page title at the top. And that's because it suggested that we might want to make something funky here. We don't necessarily want this title to appear in our pretty footer, so that header. So that's what the person who made the theme decided to do. These guys here. So that's our home page, our about page, which we've changed, and you can do exactly the same thing to the home page by editing it and adding some stuff in. So we might want to do that. We might want to simply say on our home page that this is home. There, and we might simply go read our blog. Now, blog, we might select that text, we might add a hyperlink, click here on the link options. We might want to just select and go, when they click on that text, let's let them read our blog. Add that link. That might be all we have on the front page. Pretty boring front page, if you ask me. You then go to the home page, then you'll see that we now have, this is home, so it's decided, it's actually allowed us as part of this template, this area here, it's actually right up in terms of the header, which is not necessarily great, and I don't think this template's particularly very good. If I change this to a grid, we've played around with that before, we updated, let's see what that does now that we've got some content in it. And this template's not a very good template. It hasn't really done anything really. Okay, cool. So this particular template, they've decided that when you run on the home page, we can actually put that up here. Not necessarily that pretty. I'm not very impressed with that really. But we're going to keep this as our home page. Yep, and what I'm going to also show you is that we use this visual editor here, and we can distract and we can get rid of some stuff if you're doing a lot of writing. It's quite a good thing when you're blogging. If you click on text, you'll notice that if you click on text, this code that appears here is actually HTML code. So it says the home page, we want it to be a paragraph, which is what the P stands for, and put it in the center. You don't use this unless you know how to write HTML. You use the visual editor so you can see what you're doing. Okay, so we're here with that. I'll make sure I might select home, and I might change that to header 1, so big daddy header. I'm happy to have the link to the blog. I'll refresh that. We've now got a home page which says this is home, read our blog. And if we logged out, we wouldn't have these edit options. That's okay. That might be our home page. Very boring, not very pretty home page, but that's okay. If you went to links on the left-hand side, we don't have any. We've got specific links that WordPress have set up by default, but we don't particularly use this option these days. I can even delete those guys so they don't even appear. Not really that fast. They might be quick links. Don't really use that. Even when we just added that hyperlink on the home page, it didn't ask us to select from these guys. It asked we could put in whatever we liked. So it's if you notice up here, insert link, it wasn't really anything from our link list. It was just a normal hyperlink like you would use in Microsoft Word. So links not really used anymore. However, some people might be using those on a blog. The media library is exactly the same as going to add new media and going here. Once you've uploaded it, it appears in your media library, and you can select it. And if you haven't uploaded it, you need to upload it. So if we go to the media library from here, it's exactly the same. So these two, not really, you don't really use these a lot. Comments we'll get to, but comments relate to posts. So we've now got 3 pages. as we've seen. About would happen to be in our menu. About, which is the static page. Home, which is also a static page, and my posts relate to any what we've told WordPress when we went to customize. We went to static page and we told it that we wanted our blog post to be my posts. It took that page, it took the my post page, and it said, I don't really care what you think what this page is going to look like. I'm going to put all your posts on it. We're getting a prompt here to add a post. We look at in our post lists, we don't actually have any. So if we were to add a post, so we're starting to get into blogging territory. If I was to add a post, and I can add a post by going new post up here, which is the most common action that you would perform every day, or went here to post, add new. We try that. So we add my first post, let's say. I click add new. It will post title will be prompted for us, and we go my first post, let's call it. Notice that the next section, it's very similar to the page edit option, very, very similar. And it's actually a post is just, a page is actually just almost a type of post underneath the hood. We've got some more options on here that are important, but at the moment we'll ignore them. We'll just hide this guy, hide this guy, hide this guy, and hide this guy. But for all intents and purposes, if we were to hide this guy, they both look the same and they act in the same way. You've got this Microsoft Wordy kind of thing here, and go, this is my first post. Add some media. We can publish that. And it's given a link. A permalink is like a URL. You can set permalinks. What it's decided to put by default is the name of our website, and then this thing called uncategorized, which is a category, and then the name of our post, which is stole from when we put our title in. If we click on view post or open that in the new browser, you'll notice that it has that URL, and we can see that it's displaying a post, displaying this information, and it's also putting a date, the name of it, and it's saying who, which is the author, and then what is the category, and it's saying uncategorized. That's the specific post that we just clicked on. But if we then went to the menu option, My Posts, which we talked about being the list of all posts, we click on that guy, and this page will be a link to the latest post that we've posted by default. So we didn't tell WordPress to list all the posts on this page. We didn't do that directly. We told WordPress when we went to customize and said our static front page, and we said our post page was My Posts. WordPress put in a bit of code inside this page automatically and said, show all quick links, or like a summary of your post here. So if we then added, if we were happy with that, we added a new post, and we said my second post, and then you might go, hello guys, my second post today, and I want to talk about grapes. Maybe this is my blog I'm doing today. This is how I'm actually blogging by doing this. And I click publish, and we view that post. So let's view it by opening that in a new window. We've got our first post, and we've got a second post which we just created, which is, hey guys, this is my second post. I want to talk about grapes. And also what WordPress has been smart enough to do is it's added, based on this theme, it said you can actually also navigate back to the previous post, quick link, and you can go to that. So someone could read your blog and they could quickly go to the next blog. So if we then go to My Posts, which is this page that WordPress has kind of put code in for us, and we refresh the page, we'll notice that the latest post, in order of the latest posts, has appeared at the top, and it's provided as a quick link. Click on here to that post. And the second post here, we click on that, we'll be taken to my second post, back to my post, and that shows all of them. Post being blog items. This is one blog, this is one blog, and collectively this is our blog. So that's the concept of posts. You always have a post archive page, which happens to be this guy, which is the list of all your posts or your blogs, and each blog as its individual, it's got its individual own little post page, which is this. Cool. So we're going to just look at this first post we made for a second. Close everything down. And this is the front. This is what the front end looks like. The fact that it has the date here, the fact that this title appears in the header, the fact that it has the title here, the fact that it has icon and then by admin and then uncategorized, because it displays in that certain way, that has been defined by the theme. So you might have installed the theme, quite happy with the layout, and then you see that on the post page it looks like this, and we can't actually change that easily with this theme. We can't say I don't want to show that, I don't want to show that, I don't want to show that, I want it to be down here. That's because this theme is very limited. If you had bought a theme off the internet or downloaded one of the more advanced themes, sometimes in the customization option or in the theme options themselves in the back end, you can turn these things off. So be aware that the theme is so important, and sometimes when you get into the blogging area, you start to realize that maybe that wasn't the best theme for you, or maybe it was a cool theme because you've got multiple options. So this is our one blog post. This is our blog. We're going to edit that blog post because it's our first post. And we could write whatever we liked in here. This is our blog. And if I was, let's just say I was walking down the street and I wanted to blog, or I was on my PC, I'd probably just go new post. If I was creating one every day, just new post and then create a new one. Cool. This is our my post page, which we can edit. And we're going to start to look at some of these options that you have on the right hand side. And again, these change. They could change based on the theme that you've got installed, but these are the standard ones. Format. What WordPress asks us is, what kind of blog post are you? Are you doing a standard blog post? Are you doing a side blog post? Are you doing a video, or you quote, or audio? So if you were, what this really is saying is that if the type of post that you're posting was a kind of like a rich media post, or it was a quote or audio, it might change the way in which that post appears. So if we change it to that option, click update and view that post, it could change the layout. If it made any difference, it could change the layout of that particular post. We change it to a video. We don't have a video in there, and we refresh the page, but to make sure that's updated first. Should we do it in the right order? There we go. It might change the layout of the post. Now notice that no changes are occurring, and that's because there's not much content in here. If we click quote, all these format options will apply a specific different format to the post. There we go. That made some change that we can see. These didn't, because they weren't really relevant to the content, which was just a piece of text. But here we see a quote. So what this theme says is that when you click quote, make that post and put it into a box. So I don't use these very often at all, really. I usually just use the static ones. The reason for that is I usually use a more advanced WYSIWYG or a more advanced editor here, where I can say within this area what I want it to look like, and I think it's quite important. The other thing that every blog post has, and it's quite important, is that you don't, when you go to a blog or a popular blog, so I'll go to Medium, which is a popular blog consolidation website. Notice that when you write an article or a news article, CEN, it has this, so that there's the author, the date. There we go. This example. It's that there is no different to if I went to my posts and this appearing. So this and that is one and the same. The only difference is the top. The fact that this has a sidebar, and I'll show you how to change our website so we have a sidebar, and it has some extra more options here. But this here, this page is exactly the same as this. This is an archive page on Medium. And what our post doesn't have is an image. And this has an image, and images are quite alluring. And you notice that most posts on here, or nearly every single one, apart from this guy, which is very similar to this guy, doesn't have an image. If you wanted to add an image that appears at the top, it's called the featured image, and it's down here. So this article here, maybe we want our first post to have a picture of the author, which was me back in the day. So if I selected that featured image and made sure it loaded in there, and then updated our post, most posts you want to have a featured image. So we'll chug away, we might open the post in a new window to have a look, see what it's done. Okay, cool. So what it's done, an example of our post, is it changes the whole header to part of a featured image. So we'd have to make sure we chose the image correctly, knowing what it does now. Cool. And if we went to the My Post page, which is the archive, which is the list of our latest posts, what it does is it puts, if you have chosen a featured image, it puts it above the post. There you go. So now that is looking more similar to this. Very similar. It's quite a big image, and that's because I haven't cut it, but it might entice someone to actually click on it. It will take you back to that. Don't particularly, again, like this theme layout. I think it's actually not that great. So I might change that in a minute. Actually, I will do that. I mean, even though this is going to make quite a big difference to what we've just been working with, if I decided that I would go all the way through here, and this was actually not really a nice looking blog, I could go to my themes, and I'm going to pick a standard WordPress one. So I'm going to pick this guy, which is the standard WordPress thing. We're using this guy, which I've decided isn't great. It looked great, didn't it, on the advertising on here? That's what I wanted my blog to look like. I'm going to go back to this theme, which is the default WordPress theme. I'm going to activate it. And the issue, I'd already downloaded it, so I didn't need to install. Now I've changed my theme, which means that I've just changed the whole look of my website. It means some of the customization options may have changed now, and my menu options may have worked. But this happens quite often when you get into if you haven't spent lots of money and you're not using if you've just started with your website and you haven't spent hours designing it, then changing a theme is not a big deal. But of course, if you had, then it would be. I don't particularly like this guy. And I'm going to go back to this look and feel. So click on here. We'll see what's changed or what we need to fix up. So the first thing that's happened is no menu, which isn't great. But what has happened is that we now have down here, we've got this is home, which is working correctly. So quite quickly, even though we're not doing customization appearance here, we're just going to run down these customization options again. Yes, we're happy with that. Colors, we get to choose our color if we want a dark or a light scheme. Media header is this massive guy here, so I'm going to, because I changed the image, I'm going to add my image back that I had on the other one. So I don't want it to be there, so it's a bit the same. All covering more of tutorial 2. That's a massive image, and it's not giving us an option to change that. I wouldn't particularly think that would be great on a mobile device. Okay, cool. So we've gone to the menu. We talked about this in tutorial 2. We've added our menu options. There's 2 spots now where we can put a menu option related to this theme. So there's a social links menu. I don't know where that is. It doesn't need something about WordPress. It doesn't tell you until you've added it, so you can have a look. But the top menu, which I believe will be here, we want to bring back our home menu. Because we changed our theme, we need to bring that guy back. So the home menu, this particular thing that puts it here, which is fine, but it allows us a quick way of navigating around, so we'll leave that. I don't particularly want to change anything else. This is correct. Our home page is home, and our posts. And there are some additional theme options which talk about, do we want to add any specific sections, which this particular theme allows us to add some sections, which is great. Love that. It might even make the page a one-page layout. So lots of theme options, as we've talked about in tutorial 2. But the reason why I wanted to change that theme is I was having some issues with the other one, a bit buggy. When you might find that sometimes they're just not so good. So we've now totally changed our theme. Our page looks completely different, but our home page is functioning correctly now. Our about page will still have the content that we had. So it doesn't, when you change your theme, the content in your posts or your posts and all your pages do not change. They're there forever. So that's great. So we could make a change to our website, but it would still, our posts and our pages would still be the same. It's still all there. So this is our first post, and sorry, let's get rid of that. It's the old thing. So the about page still looks the same. There's some comments on it. There's home page, which is great. If we go to my post, we'll see those posts that we had before. And that now this particular theme allows you to have this right-hand side, sidebar. Sorry, it's called a sidebar with some widgets in it. And the reason why I wanted to change my theme was so I wanted to make it look a bit more like this guy. So this guy is starting to look a little bit more like this guy. So this one's a bit squishy, and this one's been spread out. So these are all our posts. This is the one that I changed before. And if we go into that post by clicking on Ben, the user experience of that particular look and feel is a little bit better than the last guy. Still not happy with these themes. That's why I don't use these default WordPress ones. But in some ways, this page is a little bit more like if we click on one of these guys, Medium, which is an example of a blog. This particular nice website's taken off to another sub-blog is more similar to that, believe it or not. Okay, cool. So we have added, we've changed these pages. We've got a home page and an about page. We've changed those using the WYSIWYG. Click edit. We'll go to that page there. And we can edit it that way. If we just look here, we'll notice that this particular theme doesn't allow us to change the template. That's fine. We don't want to set a featured image for that particular page. If for whatever reason we were on our website and we decided that we wanted another page, a contact page, then what we could do is we go new page. We could call that contact. Let's say contact us at wherever the number might be. It's words, prepare the number. You'd publish that page. You could view that page, open that in the new tab, the contact page. Now we have a contact page. Now, of course, when you add pages and you want it to appear in the menu, you need to customize the page or go to the menu option at the back, go to menu, go to your home menu, and add that new item, that new page to your menu. So in this case, we want to add a contact page and I want to save with that blue. And now we have that new page appearing. Oh, sorry, I clicked that guy, which means we move this one on the top. Cool. We then go back to our contact page. We now have that in the menu option. So adding a new page is pretty simple by going add new page, and then you've got to remember to add it to the menu if you want anyone to be able to get to it easily. They can always navigate to it without the menu, but the menu is what you want. So in here, they have all these options of pages, and we would want to have all our main quick links as pages as well. So again, this is a blog layout page. I've got 5 blogs appearing on the featured most common read. Go to my post. This my post page is not dissimilar. We could make this page look very similar to this. On this my post page, if we edit the page, just be aware that we now have this menu option on this post page, just another page. And if we customize from here and we went to widgets, then these options are all appearing here. Because this particular theme says that on the post archive page or the my post page, they want you to show a sidebar that has appeared here, and the last thing that didn't have that. And these always usually appear on the WordPress site. And I might say I don't really want that meta, so remove that. Categories, yes I do. That might be really important. I might put that at the top. And I might say archive. I don't really care what people see in terms of dates. Recent comments, I might even want comments happening, and I'll show you how to turn those off. My recent posts I want at the top, or categories, and then recent posts, and then search. I might save that, and now when someone navigates to go back to my post page, then, and I go back to the front of Medium, then this area here where they've just got tags now, we've got tags in WordPress as well. It's starting to look a bit similar. So add a WordPress, actually let's make that exactly the same. So there should be a tag cloud, tags or recent tags, category menu, tag cloud is just very similar. So I'm going to add tags as a widget, put that to the top. I'm going to remove categories. I'm going to remove my recent posts, and I'm going to remove search. I'm going to save that page. And now this page and this page isn't going to look too dissimilar. The reason why nothing's appearing there at the moment is we have no tags. So we're going to get into that. We're now going to talk specifically about a post. Let's edit this post, the second post that we made. The post has a title, it has content. We can change its format if we want it to be special. But these two other options are associated with posts, and they're so important. So don't underestimate the power of these two things. One is the category that literally appears in the URL if you've decided that's how you want your permalinks to appear. So this category is really important, and all this stuff relates to how Google reads your web page. So if you've got good categories and good tags, your website will be found, and if you don't have good categories and good tags, your page will not be found by Google. In the same way, if you haven't categorized your post and you've got 100, it's very hard for people to read the right ones. So a Medium, they're saying if you want to read stuff around design, humor, and music or psychology, tag, and you have those tags. So if we added, let's add those. Let's add design. We just write the word design. If you want to add more, then you can separate with column. So we've got humor, music. Pretending that whatever our blog post was had all these tags in it. You don't want to just put random tags in it. You want to put ones that relate to the content that you've written about. We actually wrote about grapes. I'm also going to write grapes. Psychology wrong. Grapes wrong. Read all those. It's added all these tags on the bottom. You can also have the option of choosing other tags that are most used. So if you're writing all these things about design, you didn't want to write design in here again, you could choose from other ones. The second post has no image. We'll add an image, and we're going to just upload an image from our computer. Documents, we just turn that on to large icons so we can have a look at our images quickly. Actually, I know exactly what that is. My signature is probably not a good idea. So we'll upload something else, which is not sig. Why would I choose that? Very smart, Benjamin. So choose. There we go. This lady with a hard hat. So perfect. That's going to be our blog image. She's talking about grapes and human design. So we've added some tags, which are just like you hashtag on Instagram or Facebook. That's where the word tag came from. It came from here. It's just quick reference points to the content. But also, this whole post might be categorized, and we might only have 3 types of categories on our website. Uncategorized is what it's put by default because we don't have a category, which is crappy. We don't want that. So we might add a category, and we might be just saying that this website either talks about food or it talks about, so we go add category food, get rid of the uncategorized one. This website might just talk about food, and it might talk about people, and it might talk about they might be the categories that our blogs reference. All our blogs are relevant to. So we can add these categories, and we can choose that this blog post is around food, and I want every blog post that's related to food to be categorized together, and these are specific tags that appear in the content. So the category is almost like what is the area of the website or the area of content you're talking about, and tag posts are what are the themes of the content that you're writing about. If you click on most used, it will tell you which ones. Okay, so if we update that, then these changes will appear, and that's what you always want to do, is add a category and a tag. If you go over to the left-hand side, you'll notice there's a menu option called categories. So I'm going to open that in a new window and open tags in a new window. And if you go into categories, you'll notice that there's a quick way of adding all those bits and pieces. There is an uncategorized option, which is the default. It will not WordPress will not allow you to delete that uncategorized option because a lot of people don't add a category, and then it needs a default option. We've also got to count on how many options or posts we have related to those categories Food was the relating to the post we did, second post. And if we go to back to our, if we go back to posts, all posts, and go back to our first post, we were lazy. We did that. We were lazy, and we didn't give it a category. And so that when we say categories and we see one there, it's because our first post was uncategorized. This is my first post about cities. We might just choose city, get rid of uncategorized. We might add. Here we go. So we've already added tags. We might see what are tags. Well, cities are all about design, and cities are all about psychology. And maybe cities are all about cities. Add a new tag, and we update that. We have our second post and our first post. And obviously, you do this. You wouldn't go back and change all these things. You'd probably do them at the same time as you're writing. It's quite important what categories and what tags you associate with your content. They need to be relevant. Google's smart enough to know what categories you've got. What you also notice is when I chose food on the second post, it changed the URL, food. All these posts will appear under food. And on this guy, we said cities, and it's changed the URL to cities. So it's a quick way of getting to it. This, by adding categories to your posts, it allows you to, it gives you power to filter posts later. So there are plenty of plugins and widgets that say only show on this particular page everything that relates to food, or everything that's in the food category and so by adding categories you get to filter out posts and change the way in which posts are displayed on the page. So if I went to CNN, these are all news articles. So all these news articles that appear in CNN, keep going back to, these are all posts. The second post could well be called this. And all these posts are categorized based on one of these options here. So when someone writes this article, they will be, before you see it, they will say that this is all about politics. So if you go to US politics, only the posts that have politics as categorized appear on this page. So you don't see anything about sports or entertainment on this, or cities or food, because this particular category is politics. And now all these have been reordered, and all these blog posts, which are news articles, one and the same, are all ones that relate to categories. So it shows you how important categories are. CNN doesn't use tags. It will use tags. If you click on an article, so let's just click on this article, this particular article here. We scroll down to the bottom, a whole lot of stuff. There's a whole lot of ads in the post, the footer, a whole lot of content. And sometimes they have, on these websites at the top, they have a little summary, say, summary highlights. And we could do that with our point, but another way, these are just tags, are saying, well, they're just big tag items. If we went to the source code, by right-clicking on a source code, I guarantee that there are tags associated with this. Stop there, guy. Tags associated with this particular article that Google can see because it's in the code. And if we go back to these guys, they use tags. So if you click on humor or medium or design, in this case, tag anything that has been tagged with design, please put in here. And so they use the concept of tags. But if you went to the front page and you looked at their menu option, these areas here are more categories. So if you clicked on world, then Medium's going to not use tags per se, it's going to use topics, which are categories. They call them topics. And now you only see things that are in the right categories. So it's two ways of navigating, either quick links relevant to content, or they've got something within the content as a tag. So hashtag grapes, hashtag, grape lover, which might be about the content. And the category is, where is this whole article? What's the purpose of this article? Is it about food? Yes, it is. It's about food, and this one's about cities. So in this example, all these articles here, under world, will have relevance to world events, and anything over here has the content talks about music. So music can be world music, world design could be around world as well. So there is a relationship, but it's through the content and through the particular post. They use tags, and they actually show the tags up here. So these ones are related to design. Cool. So that's what a tag and a category is. We then refresh this page saying we've just recategorized, but no categories which are uncategorized, which is fantastic. We've got nothing to do with people, food, and that. Go to tags. We'll put all our tags in there. We can add more if we want. You don't have to go into this interface. You can just use this right-hand side menu on the particular blog post that you're writing. So there's a lot to cover, but categories is how the group of the topic you're talking about, and the tags are the specific content points. We then go to one of our posts, this one here. Notice the URL's changed, actually physically. I've got a picture of a hard hat woman, and our tags appear on the right-hand side, and they also appear down the bottom. And also WordPress on this particular theme, I've decided to show you what area you're talking about. So this is quite cool. So when Google reads this page, and when a person reads this page, and that's what Google tries to do, is try and be as human as possible, it reads these things, and then it knows that when you put design and food in the search bar in Google, that maybe you want to be reading this blog. So that's how it works. It's called SEO, it's search engine optimization, and what that whole area of expertise is really saying that Google's trying to, when you search for something, it's trying to take you to a page that's relevant to your search, and these things here make your content, what you're actually talking about, and these things all come together, as well as the name of your website and a whole lot of other aspects. It all comes together to how Google ranks your web page, and whether or not when you type in, I want to read all the articles about grapes, whether or not this Google decides whether or not to show this in the search criteria or the search results. So when we go back to here, we'll notice that our, get rid of these guys, our post is starting to look a little bit more like these guys here. Well, actually, this is a particular post. Go up to my posts. These guys, this here is starting to look very similar to this guy here. They happen to have some meta options, which are these guys, which we could add ourselves. And this is starting to look very similar to that. If we clicked on psychology, then it's going to filter our tags. If we click on cities, then it's only going to show us the blog posts that relate to that tag. And we click on grapes, we're going to go and see article 2, not article 1. So it's a filtering system as well. Okay, cool. So we've added a post, we've added 2 posts, and we could continue adding posts. Like the next day, we could go, well, today I want to talk about whales, and whales dying in Auckland today as they up on North Beach. Really depressing article. Spell check there. Hashtag Auckland. Right, that's really what you talk about. Hashtag Auckland, hashtag Wales, hashtag washed up, hashtag happy Wales, right? Not happy, right? They might be your things. You might go, well, actually, this whole thing's about cities, and we haven't got a category about animals, so let's put all our categories around animals, and we got to categorize it twice, which is fine, and we're going to publish that article. We've decided we didn't set featured image, so that means it's not going to look very pretty. But if we look at our post, we notice that we've got whales are dying, all that's done there. If we go back to my posts, we're going to see that at the top. And that's blogging, real quick blogging. And now we've got all our not happy. It's going to show us all the non-happy posts. Auckland, it's going to show us that. So there you go. That is blogging 101. And we showed you how to make these pages here too. So we went to about, we've got that, our contact page has got nothing in it apart from our phone number. We've now got a web page which has got 3 brochure weary, so like static pages that we can edit. And we also have our blog posts, which is our archive page, which contains all our posts, just like Medium front page. And the specific article, which is our blog post, which is appearing there. So things are starting to come together. So that is all that we need to talk about today when we talk about adding content and blogging. Specifically, the theme, next time I'm going to talk about a specific way in which to use a theme to make a more advanced theme. So some of these options are a bit more pretty, and your website looks a bit more pretty. but the fundamentals of adding a page, adding blog post, adding tags, changing the appearance, and adding content is exactly the same. So we're just going into more advanced things here to make our web page either look better or for this to function in a different way.